YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how to replace or just switch out a wall switch for like a light. This is a one-way switch, so that's the only switch in the circuit. It's not a three-way switch or whatever. But yeah, this one's not broken. It works. We're just switching from an off-white tan to a white face plate and switch. We're going to paint the walls gray. So, first things first, shut off the power. Second thing, you'll need a light, much like this Milwaukee rocket light plant, I call it. Light tower, but very, very useful tool. I was a little uncertain of buying it at first, especially looking at the price point, but I tell you what, I've used it. It's paid for itself many times. So, tools you're going to need. Supplies. You're going to need new faceplate if you're going to replace the faceplate. New switch. You're going to need possibly some of the good stuff. The Scotch Super 33 Plus electrical tape. Typically going to need a flathead and or a Phillips screwdriver. And you need some sort of, you don't need it, but I like to double check and triple checks, you know, lockout, tag out type thing, so you don't kill yourself. But some sort of tester, either a multimeter or like this one. This is just a voltage tester. So how this works is you turn it on, you can touch it or shove it in, shove the tip in, and it'll beep, turn red if there's voltage. There's no voltage, I have the circuit turned off. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're at the switch. Obviously, flathead screwdriver. So get the faceplate out of here. Who knows what is behind door number 1? I certainly do not. I know I've never taken these faceplates off, so. Guess we'll both find out. Boom. One faceplate. Wow. Paint is old. Okay, so if you're super paranoid, get your tester, you shove it in around the switch. There's nothing. Get your flathead again, pop these screws loose. This is a plaster wall, so it's a little different than drywall, but either way, if your box is not sturdy or there's a gap around your box, I'd like to take some mud and fill her in a bit, just to make it nice. Sometimes these chip away on an older house, which this is, obviously if it has plaster walls. But on some of the other sockets, the plaster's chipping around the box, and you can see it just outside the faceplate a bit. So, get those screws out. That'll pop the switch loose. There you go. Again, if you're super paranoid, we are good. No power. Nothing. So, take your Phillips, or flathead, I'm sorry. Pop it loose. And pop it loose. the wires out. Sometimes they're a pain. You see, it's an old house. These nowadays, I'd leave more length on the wires just to make it a little easier. But the switch is off, so you're gonna make sure this is easy. So, right now, there's no ground wire on this. I could, probably better, get these little chunks of plastic out of here. Put the switch on. On is when the switch is facing up, obviously, and the words are in the right way. But all we got to do is slap it back together. Now, if you notice, your wires here, there's an opening. It's a semicircle. You put the semicircle, you wrap the wire with the way you're going to turn the screw. So the wire wraps clockwise because you're going to tighten the screw. And what that does is, as you're tightening it, it cinches that down and pulls the loop in. If you do it the other way, when you're tightening it down, it could open up and not have a good hold on the switch and not complete the circuit properly. Now this is just 2 wires, so it ain't that big a deal. And we're putting a faceplate right back on it. Now, if you're going to be painting and leaving the faceplates off for a little bit, what I would do is take your electrical tape and wrap around it. Especially, I would do that if you've got a plug where there's, you know, numerous wires going to places, or a 3-way switch where there's more wires, or if you have a box of numerous switches, I'd wrap them. Just when you're in there screwing with other stuff, you know what goes where. You don't, you know, not to touch nothing. And again, if you have the faceplates off the paint, something happens to get in there, you want less chance of getting shocked. So, shove it back in. You could put, since this one has a ground screw on it, you could run a ground wire from the switch to the box, but it's gonna, this is a metal box, so it'll ground through the switch there. If you had a plastic box or whatever material they really are, I just call them the plastic boxes, PVC boxes. You definitely want to run a ground from the switch to that box. But steel is conductive, so it'll be just fine. That is my circuit tester shutting off. So you just run these screws in. Could use a little drill or impact to speed it up the process, but you know, try to be old school for a little bit. So, And make sure it's centered up. And straight. Because if it's not straight, your faceplate won't be straight. And you just want to snug it up. You don't want to really cinch her down, because you can crack your drywall, crack your plaster, whatever. That ain't going nowhere. So, that's done. Get yourself a new faceplate. You might need your multi-tool. Here. Slice the bag open. Here's your faceplate with 2 screws. This is unbreakable, supposedly. Put yourself here. Nope. Flathead screwdriver. And start it on that one. Then it'll find itself there. Okay, so that switch there doesn't stick out enough. So what I'm going to do, take his faceplate back off. I'm going to bend these tabs a little bit to pull that switch back out. Okay, instead of bending this, what I'm going to do is these ears here, there's a line, so you can bend the tab off, and I'm just going to use those as a little shim. So, alright, so we'll put those on as a washer. You couldn't understand that. We'll put those on like a washer and start it back in, and just as before. Okay. Put the faceplate on. It's better than it was. Not exactly to my standards of fit and finish, but it'll do. Remember, children, these screws are a choking hazard, so don't be stupid and eat them. Put them in your mouth, like I am right now. So, stand it up over your switch. Snug it down. And a little bit. So it's nice and flush. The thing. That's why you get your final. And then for OCD sake, look at it. Nice and straight, nice and flush. Nice new white switch. Alright, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe for more to come. Leave some comments down in the comment section and keep watching more videos. Until next time, stay crazy. Thank you.